We'll go straight to questions for Coach.
Coach, right off the top of my head, I noticed Savion's not out there.
Right.
Is there any chance he plays in this game?
No, probably not going to play in this game. I think he's pretty banged up coming off of the Cincinnati deal, and neither will Jack. I think they're both, Jack's got a sprained knee that's going to be probably a 4-week to 5-week deal. And so, no, neither one of those guys are going to play.
Seems like there's been a lot of good energy, especially when we're talking to the players. How satisfied you been with your bowl person?
Very, very, very satisfied. Yeah, I think the guys have had a great mentality. That's been the biggest thing, I think, from the get-go is, look, man, this is an opportunity for us to play another game together, get to 9 wins. And as I said over and over and over again, these guys like each other, genuinely care about each other. And so, they want to be together and they want to make sure we send the seniors out with a win. And so I think they're highly motivated and take a lot of pride in going out there and having a chance to perform at a high level. And it means a lot to them to play in a bowl game and to have a chance to compete and as I said, get to 9 wins. And I think it's important, and the guys have treated it that way. We've had a great mentality. They've enjoyed practicing. They've worked really, really hard. It's been fun to see, and like I said, man, I'm excited. Excited to go to Albuquerque and excited to watch us play because I think they're excited.
Coach, with Savion and Jack not available, will someone step up? Will we see a younger guy who we haven't really seen?
Yeah. I think you'll see, obviously, Blake now will be big. Blake's obviously got a lot of experience, and that's what's great about Blake. I mean, he'll kind of plug and play, I think, there. And then we'll bounce some guys around. I think you'll see Jordan Bailey on the field more, which we've wanted to figure out a way to get him out there and playing more. And so, the good thing is we've got lots of good options and excited about those guys. Obviously, John Paul will play a big role, as will Eric McAllister. And so, those guys, that fortunately have made a lot of plays, and we're relying on guys that have experience and have made plays. And so it's not like we're having to play with somebody that hadn't done it before.
What have you seen from Louisiana on the film?
A good football team. Yeah, really a team that really runs the ball well, dangerous, athletic, can create a lot of havoc defensively. I think they got a good front. I mean, they're really, really good. They do a nice job pressuring the quarterback, really do a good job on third down. Got a good package. I mean, they know what they're doing. They're good. They're well coached. They play very, very hard. And they're a really, really good football team. You turn the Wake Forest film on, you go up there, and I mean, they just physically dominated those guys, and on both lines of scrimmage, and they've kind of done it all year. And so, very, very dangerous football team, good skill. Like I said, really, really do a tremendous job running the football and do some things, nice things off the run game. Good football team that, man, it's hard to win in college football, and they've won 10 games. And so anybody that does that, I can assure you, has everybody's attention and everybody's respect.
Coach, when's the portal close right now? Do we know?
Never. I think, I don't know the exact date, but it's going to be opening and closing different times based on different teams and who's in the playoff. And so, the way you have to look at this is that like if you're a playoff team, or even for that matter a bowl team, the portal gets extended. And so, for all intents and purposes, it's going to be the end of January.
And I ask that because do you think you're settled, or do you think that they're...
No. I mean, no, not at all. I mean, as far as our players going in,
Yeah.
I mean, you'd like to think so, but I'm sure we're not.
Coach, with Savion not playing, and obviously you had a running back in the portal yesterday.
Yep.
Who do y'all kind of lean on it in that running back?
Yeah, same thing. The good thing is, Trent Battle has experience, and Trent's really kind of been our starter for the last half of the season. Once he came back from injury, he's been, the most productive guy. Jeremy Payne's done an outstanding job, so far this season. And so, we'll roll with those guys. So looking forward to getting some young players some reps, and it's been good to see those guys. And so feel really good about that room, honestly. And I think that, it's going to be important for us to run the football. And the good thing is it's going to be guys that have done it this year for us. And, and anytime somebody leaves, you hate to see it, but also, too, it provides opportunities for other guys. And I think that part of the issue with us this year, it seemed like we never could get into a flow at running back. We were trying to play too many guys. And I think this will allow our guys to perform better and get into a flow and hopefully, be productive.
Coach, when a guy left under old rules, it may be ahead of the look of what the state of the program, or maybe even the coach, the way the rules are now when a guy leaves. Is there that feeling at all anymore?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I mean, look, I think, and again, it all depends on your attitude. You know, everybody sees it differently as a head coach. You know what I'm saying? And I think it just depends on how you view the world and how you view things. If a player leaves, I've always felt like, you know, okay, what did we do wrong? What did I do wrong personally, and what did we do wrong to, number one, not develop them or feel like they weren't being developed, or whatever the situation is, whatever the reasoning is. You know, I tend to look at us and say, okay, what could we have done better, and how did we fail this kid? A lot of people don't see it that way. A lot of people see it as this guy's, whatever the case may be, you know, the kid's not this, the kid's not this, the kid's not that, whatever. And that's, you know, that's easy for some people to do, and you know, I do think that, you know, not too many people that, let me put it to you this way, we've had very few players that have come, that have gone in the portal, that have come and spoken with us, and we didn't say, we think it's a good decision. You know, I mean, I can think of 3 in the last 3 years. And everybody else on our end, we've been like, I think that you're probably doing the right thing, and I understand your reasonings, and it's probably best for everybody to go get a fresh start. What does that say about our program? I don't know. That's left up to interpretation from everybody else. Some people will say we have very low expectations, whatever. Some people will say, man, you guys really care about your players, whatever. Some people will say, I mean, you know, and that's why I don't really care. You know, we're going to do the best we can for these kids. When they come to TCU, we promise their parents that we're going to do a good job of, number one, making sure that they get a degree, and number two, we're going to treat them just like we would treat our own kids. And so when they have ups and downs, our job is to help them, guide them through those. And our job is to provide opportunity for them. Our job is to make them better. Our job is for them every single day to leave this building better than they came in a better student, a better person, a better teammate, and a better football player. And if that doesn't happen, then to me, that lands right on my lap. And I take that very seriously. And so, you know, I think that shows. I think that's why we have so few players go into the portal. But again, people can view it however they want to view it.
Jamel enters the portal, but now he's back here to practice. Kind of piggybacking off that. How big is that for the program?
It's good. Yeah, no, it's good. I'm glad to see Jamel come back. I mean, I didn't really quite understand. He was one of those guys that like I said earlier, that when he came and sat down with me, I didn't really understand why he was doing what he was doing. You know, and it didn't make sense to me, and I was disappointed. You know, and so I'm glad that he had a chance to reconsider. And you know, it's hard. It's like anything else. It's if you're an insurance salesman and you walk down the hall and everybody on the hall is having meetings and selling insurance with somebody, and there's all this activity going on, it's hard for you to walk down the hall and go, well, man, I should be doing this. You know, maybe I should have somebody in my office right now and I should be selling. And so that's the same thing that's happened to these kids. I mean, they pick up the newspaper every day, or I guess they don't pick up the newspaper. They see on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and all this stuff, you know, all these people moving on, and they can't help but go, well, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. And so I totally understand it, you know. Happens to coaches all the time in our profession. You know, guys think, well, I need to go take another job. I mean, so this guy's interviewing for this job. Well, how come I'm not? You know, and that's a human nature. And so when you're 18 to 22 years old, sometimes people have unrealistic expectations. Sometimes people that are advising these guys don't really know. I mean, they're saying, well, you know, this quarterback got $15 million to go to Michigan. You ought to get 10. You know, and so, I mean, these people don't know, and these kids don't know, and it's hard on those guys, and I feel bad for those kids, and it makes it very difficult for them, and a lot of people can apply a lot of pressure to these kids, and it's tough, you know, and it can be tough on the guys, and so it's hard. What we try to do is educate them the best that we can and make sure that we're upfront and honest with them. We talk all the time and try to have complete transparency within our roster about, okay, here's what's going on. Is this really true? Is this, I don't know. Some of these numbers I don't think are true. but it's hard. It's hard on these kids, and you know, and as I said earlier, it creates a lot of uncertainty for them.
You said a while back might be the best time to be a head football coach.
Yeah,
Transfer portal's open, bowl season's going on.
there's a lot going on. Yeah.
Still a good time?
Well, and what I mean by that is this, is that like, I mean, you know, there's some places right now that have really, in my estimation, have really opened up their pocketbook and are making some critical mistakes when it comes to going out and buying players. You guys have probably heard some of the stuff that's going on just as much or more than I have. But I mean, we're meeting with guys right now that or talking to players right now in the transfer portal that, you know, are making other places 10 times what we think their value's worth. And you start looking at that and you go, I mean, it's just incredibly irresponsible. And it's like anything else, there's a price to be paid for that on the back end. You know, how's it going to be if you go pay some player $2 million to come in this room and everybody else in the room combined doesn't make $2 million? You know, what kind of situation are you putting that player in? I don't think a very good one. And so anyway, there's a lot of things, you know, happening right now. I think there's a lot of people that are being pretty irresponsible when it comes to what they're doing. But at the same time, everybody's got to do their best and what they think is going to help their program succeed. As I said, I think I know this, the teams that have just went out and bought players in the past and didn't worry about the relationship or the kind of person they were bringing in or those kind of things historically have not done that well, in my opinion. They have not performed to the level of their talent on the team because I think in some ways they don't have exactly what I said, they don't have a team. And in my opinion, in college football today, if you want to have a chance to advance and get to the playoff, I believe you have to have a team. And I believe the teams that, or the organizations that, where it's just about the money, you know, I don't know that they have a great team concept.
Do you think, I know you lost one coach, do you think after that you're pretty stable, or who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I love my staff. Hope we keep everybody here. But you know how that stuff goes. I mean, anytime somebody can improve themselves, I was really happy for Doug. You know, to have a chance to go be a play caller and his alma mater, and was really excited for him. He deserves an opportunity to go do that again. He's been successful, and he gets to do it at his alma mater. I mean, how's it get any better than that?
What's your plan for maybe filling that vacancy?
Gonna hire Mitch. Gonna make Mitch one of the 10 full-time, promote him to the tight end position. And then Malcolm will assume coaching those guys. We've had an inside-outside receivers. It's been a little silly just because we don't really have that. That's kind of been the traditional air raid makeup where you had, if you played with a tight end, you kind of had a tight end maybe coach that, you know, coach the tight ends or maybe a running back if you had 2 running backs in the backfield. And then you were in 10 personnel so much where you had 2 true inside receivers. And really, we're in 11 and 12 so much that we haven't really had two true inside receivers. So Doug really coached one guy. And so what we're going to do is we'll move that position into Malcolm's room, and then we'll help Malcolm by going out and hiring, kind of an assistant wide receiver coach. That's the plan. And we'll start worrying about that, after New Year's.
You've spoken really highly of Mitch in the past. And
Yeah.
glimpses of him in practices. Just talk about his.
Yeah. So Mitch has been with me, I think, 7 years now, 6 or 7 years. Really good football coach, great mind. Really good recruiter, teacher on the field. Really like what he's grown into. He was one of those guys. We first had him at SMU. You saw a lot of potential. He played for Jamal Powell, who was a former player at TCU, who was my line coach at SMU, has since passed away. And he played for Jamal and at James Madison. And he was one of those young guys that he kind of got around us a little bit. And you go, okay, this guy's really smart. And has just grown every single year as a coach. And, we played O-line, so he really understands the blocking part of that position. And he's been around some good receiver coaches through the years that have kind of taught him, the wide receiver play. And so, to me, he's kind of the perfect mix of that hand in the ground, come off the ball mentality that you want your tight ends to have, but also understands the passing game and stuff well enough to be able to coach that at a high level. So he's really, really sharp. He'll do a really good job recruiting. He's a hustler. He's organized. He's smart. He'll be a great addition.
Going back to what you kind of said about the insurance analogy and the people driving so much of the movement, a lot of those people are, I guess, quote-unquote agents. Would you like to see in the future maybe some type of certification?
I would, yeah, because what you don't want to see, I mean, you want to see young people be protected. And so, I mean, I've heard some horror stories of some agents that are getting 30% of some of these kids' money. And, you know, so there needs to be some kind of regulation. They need to be certified. There needs to be a maximum percent of what these guys can get. Because, I mean, you start talking about some of the money that's getting thrown around. I mean, it's pretty crazy stuff. You know, I mean, like I said, there's you know, offensive tackles out there going for $2+ million. And you know, somebody's going to take $700,000 of that, which is crazy. And so you hope that's not the case, but I've talked to some guys that have had some agents approach them, and that's kind of been, you know, what it is. And it's like anything. I mean, there's obviously really, really good, reputable guys that, you know, do a really good job representing these players' interests, but there's also, like anything, there's also some people that are worried about themselves.
Coach, how do you know what to believe on some of those?
I don't.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, and again, thank God that's why this is the last 6 months of hopefully lunacy. Because, I mean, some fat cat can go out and buy a team for the next 6 months. And hopefully that's going to come to an end. Because once we get true revenue share, then everybody's going to be operating under the same set of rules. That's the assumption. That's the hope.
I had a chance to talk to Rhett Lashley yesterday for a second at his deal
Mhm.
in Dallas. He was very complimentary of you in your timeline there. I know you're in a weird position because that's a rival.
Yeah, for sure. But not really. I mean, Rhett's a friend, and that's a program that, I mean, look, we, you know, sank our heart and soul into that program. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, people can say whatever they want to say, but for 4 years, we lived every single day and gave everything we had to that institution. And and I'll always appreciate them. They gave me a chance. You know what I'm saying? I'd gotten fired, and, you know, nobody really wanted me. And so I'm very thankful to SMU and very appreciative for, you know, for everything they did for me. And you know, I think the people that know over there feel the same way. And I don't expect a general fan to feel that way. But, you know, I think that they realized it was a good relationship for both of us.
Do you take any, you know, when you look at your resume, do you take, I can't think of a better word, ownership of where they are a little bit, in fact that you have some thing?
You know, not really. I mean, just because there's so much that goes into making a successful team. You know, I mean, you know, there's just so many things that have to happen. And so that's Rhett's team, and he deserves the credit for that football team. Yeah, I mean, it's just what it is.
Your bowl game's on the 28th. Do you start looking at Patriots film the 29th? Or when do you...
Yeah, probably. Yeah, my guess is on the way to the airport.
What do you make of that situation? The coaching carousel's been pretty chaotic this year, and a lot of coaches from this level typically kind of move up to the NFL.
Yeah.
But now we see, obviously, Belichick.
Yeah, I think the lines between the NFL and college football become more blurry all the time. You know, and I just think that's the way it is.
I know, you know, that's got to be a big deal, and I know that's months and months.
Yeah.
But for you personally, you were Dion's first.
Yeah, no, I know.
And now you'll be.
I'm not really. Yeah, I'm for someone who doesn't like a lot of hoopla. It's kind of a curse in some ways. You know, I mean, I just like coaching football, and you know, I'd be perfectly happy if nobody came to the games.
How much has you guys' preparation been impacted by the fact that some of their best players have been to the portal already, Louisiana?
I mean, you know, none. You know, because again, you don't win 10 games without having good players, and you don't win 10 games without having depth. And so, I mean, you know, they have some good players that have gone into the portal, but my guess is that some of the guys that are behind them sometimes are just as good, maybe just younger. You know what I mean? I mean, there's we've played teams where, starting quarterback got hurt, and when you're midway through the first quarter, you go, well, the backup's twice as good as the starter. He's just younger. You know what I mean? And so my hope is that's not the case, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't.
Speaking of a younger player, Coach, we got to see Haas
Yep.
against Cincinnati late. Is he kind of a guy that can do that Savion package for you guys?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he can for sure. With a little bit different element. But yeah, I mean, look, we needed Haas to be able to win that game at Cincinnati. I mean, he played a huge part in us winning that football game. Just his ability to run the ball and create some good numbers in the box and kind of take over, as you said, that Savion role. And so, yeah, I would expect him to do the same thing in a week from Saturday.
We'll go 2 more questions.
What I was trying to figure out was how do you say it? Desormo, was he a quarterback at Lafayette when you were coaching at Tech?
I think he was there right before.
Right before.
Yeah, I think he was there right before. Now, we never played them when I was at Louisiana Tech. Never played Lafayette. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, we never played Grambling until I got there. The 2 schools are 3 miles apart. They
played Monroe, right?
They had never played a game.
Did you play Monroe?
We didn't play Monroe. Hey, good luck trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
When I got the Louisiana Tech job, I was like, I mean, how in the world have we never played Grambling?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, the 2 campuses are 3 miles apart. We did, and I was really proud that we did. And it took a lot of work to get it done, but it was something that, honestly, I see as one of the best things I was able to accomplish during my time there.
Yeah.
How important are games like that? Because in today's landscape, we see them going away.
Yeah, I mean, look, it comes down to, and you can see kind of this is headed to the TCU SMU conversation. And you go, well, okay. The worst things for both of our programs, because I do think that we would like to think that we're a program that has a chance or an opportunity to compete for the college football playoff year in, year out. Okay? The best way to get there, it's proven, is to, number 1, play 8 conference games. That's the best way. I'm hoping somebody in the Big 12, I'm hoping somebody gets hit by a meteorite that has that written on the meteorite or something, that they realize pretty quickly that we are hurting the member institutions and the student athletes in our league by playing 9 conference games. I hope somebody at some point recognizes that. Okay, that's a starting point. Then I think that scheduling becomes the next biggest thing. You know what I'm saying? And so, my guess is SMU feels just like we do now after the success they've had. Okay, they're a team that feels like year in, year out, they have a chance to compete for the college football playoff. Well, it's not very smart for us 2 teams to play each other. And it's great for the fans, great for tradition, great for this, great for that, not great for the institutions. And so, that is unfortunately the way things are in college football. Now, my hope is that there will be some standardized system. In other words, I don't care if you go to 12 conference games. Make everybody do it. Okay? I don't care if you go to 9, 8, 6, 10, whatever. Make everybody do it. I would make everybody play the same number of Power 5 games. We're playing 2 Power 4 teams next season, and we're playing 6 home games. My bet is that we're the only college football team in the country doing that. That's a Power 4 team. I bet, and there's not one other team doing that. So we are significantly hurting our chances of getting the college football playoff by our scheduling. I mean, just the truth. And so, because nobody else is doing it, why would anybody else do that? I mean, if they thought it was going to benefit them, they would do it. Clearly, they don't think it's going to be good. That's why no one else is doing it besides us. So, having said all that, I mean, scheduling is a big deal. And so, I think it's like anything. You have to weigh the pros and the cons, and you have to decide at the end of the day what puts the institution in the best chance, gives them the best opportunity to succeed at the highest level. And in today's current system, that's what does. Until that system changes, I think you'll see less and less of those games. And I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was maybe it was Nick Saban talking about it, with Alabama not making the playoff or something, you know, you're encouraging people not to play really good out-of-conference games. I think that's true. Now, again, that can be mandated. That there's all these things that they can do to ensure that those games happen. But right now, everybody's playing by a different set of rules, and you just want everybody to play by the same set of rules. It's all you can ask for as a coach. Let's have the same amount of money to spend in revenue sharing. Let's have the same scheduling model. Let's play the same number of conference games, and that way we can actually find out who we think are the 12 best teams. I know it's a incredibly difficult concept to grasp. It certainly is for some people.
The NFL does it, right?
They've been doing it for 70 years.
But they also have 32 teams. I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard to do it with 100.
It is, yeah, but I mean, we're talking Power 4,
Yeah.
you know, so however many there are of those.
67.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.